Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Terror Barrier. So, does anybody have a question or aha moments this week or a win? I'm sure you guys have.
Yeah, Mary here.
Mm-hmm.
A win and ha-ha, I think. I have no idea why, and I can't tell you why, how, when, what, or no information. I don't know. Basically, I've learned so much. All I've been doing is persistence chapter. I've been doing my gratitude. I've been reading a few books. And then this weekend, I have no idea how IT works. I don't know how to do anything with the videos, with how to do Instagram. And then this weekend, I have just mastered it all to the point where I can now do videos. I've been helping Joanne with her Instagram, which is now boosted. And it's a massive, huge aha moment for me, because if you asked me to do that a week ago, I'd be like, no, Hildy, you can't do it.
That's amazing. That's awesome. So, because all the information we already contain it in our subconscious mind. It knows everything, and it knows where everything is. And as soon as we get on that frequency, it becomes visible to us. And that's all it is. And you will just look back, and just the way you were saying that, if you asked me last week, I wouldn't have known. And today it's like, duh. Yeah, isn't that fun?
It is. It's really, really good. Very, very good. And it's obviously it's helping all of us together as a team with Nora, Marianne and Joanne. It's just like whatever I've learned, or again, I'm just sharing it with them as well.
Awesome. So have you been like affirming, or do you have a goal card, or do you have a vision board? Because auto-suggestion, the more you look at that same thing over and over again, and think about that same thing over and over again, and read that same thing over and over again, you just get onto the frequency of that thing. And then things show up. Information, ideas, people, circumstances, everything just show up. So would you say you have been using auto-suggestion?
I wouldn't know. I've no idea.
Oh, okay. That's good. Unconscious competent. Yeah. So I would say that you have been, because or else you wouldn't have been going onto the different frequency. And one of which, with the repetition, is the persistence chapter. So how often, how many days has it been for you reading it every day?
I think it's 3.5 weeks now.
Wow, nice. Wow. So how do you feel about persistence now? Like, what has changed?
What has changed with the persistence?
You're feeling, not the manifestation, like what's happening outside, but like how do you feel? Like, what is your relationship with the word and the meaning of persistence?
I can do it. I feel that the more I persist with it and do it and look at it, it's not a challenge for me now. It's there. That makes sense. It's hard for me to explain.
Does it feel for you now? As compared to before, that you wouldn't know how to do things, and now you just know that as you keep on going, you will get there.
And I feel now is that I haven't got a problem with this. If you said to me a week ago about that, I'd like, Hildy, no idea. And then obviously now I know. If it's like yesterday we were talking about someone, it's like, yeah, well, I'll find it, and I found it, and there it was. It was just there. So again, there's like more persistence and keep going for it.
How exciting!
It's been fantastic, Hildy. Absolutely fantastic. She's been this weekend.
Wow.
Oh, thank you, Joanne.
Yeah,
Joanne, tell us about you and persistence. Your relationship.
Oh, well, I just persistently nag Mary to find out how to do things on Instagram. So I've manifested Mary, I think, because I've been freaking out with Instagram for ages, trying to get it right. And then Mary just messages me and says, you need to do this, 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 and this. I was like, brilliant. That's fantastic. So thank you, Mary.
You're welcome.
Yeah,
It's been a real pleasure.
aligns with our topic today, which is, the terror barrier. We only have fear if we're ignorant of something, but if we, know something, then what's the fear all about, right? We don't need to fear it.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Great. So, anybody else want to share?
Hi, Hildy.
Hello.
Okay. Yeah, again, like Mary, reading, and Joanne, the persistence. I do feel that things are shifting. Things seem to be going my way since getting up early, and just
Miriam,
feels
I
very
want to.
powerful.
I just want to emphasize that things have always been going your way, in the sense that you create your reality 100%, and whatever you put out comes back to you. But now you've found a way to align what you want with, your feelings and actions, and that's why you feel that it's going your way,
Yes. Yeah.
because it's what you want, because you always got what you put out, because the law of attraction is always consistent that way.
Yes.
Yeah, so congratulations.
And James's school has been accepted finally.
Nice.
So the original school, so he gets to go there on Friday. So that for us is a huge win, just because it's been a real concern, and now he's really excited. So this Friday he will go for the open day, and then should be starting next week.
Yay!
No,
That's
it's amazing.
wonderful.
Yeah, and it's the Steiner School.
Wow. Yeah, he'll love it there.
Yeah,
And then the combination of you teaching him this, he's going to fly.
Yeah, massively so.
Wow, wonderful. So congratulations on creating what it is you really wanted, because that was your number one choice of school, right?
Yeah, definitely. It really was. And there was a huge waiting list, and now he's literally right to the top. There's no waiting list.
Wow. So good. Isn't it the same as what's his name? Anthony? Christian and Alpha's?
Yeah, it's a
German.
German.
Going to that as well?
Yes, it's a Waldorf. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Same
Yeah.
school.
So yeah, the same. Yeah, I think it's in the South Coast that they're at, but that she's at. So he's at. But yeah, it's the same school.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Really good.
Brilliant. So I don't know. So for the others, so the Steiner, so most schools, they want you to do certain things at a certain age. So if you're in grade 5 and you can't do this, that, they put you in a box and say, or you're not good enough because you can't do it at this age. But the Steiner school, it actually evolves around each and every child. So that is a huge win. That's a great school. Okay.
Yeah, I love that they have no uniform to wear. They just wear the clothes that they're comfortable in.
Yeah, beautiful. Well, it's German, that's why we don't wear uniforms. Yeah.
Hildy,
Yeah.
I would love to read out the question you asked Bob, and can you remember his answer?
Go ask the question.
Okay, yes. So she asked Bob yesterday. There was a questions and answers with Bob, and she wrote, "Do you believe in working hard? When I study the stick person, what I believe it really is to work on changing the vibration and then allowing everything to come to you, ideas, people, and then act on them. What are your thoughts on that, Bob?"
Wow. The only thing I remember, to be honest, was his first sentence, which was, "I agree with you."
Yeah.
So what else did he say? Do you remember?
He talked about that. He's a very active person. Like he's always doing something, but he would never do anything unless he loved it. He was passionate about it. So it doesn't feel like he's working. It's just something he's just loves. Yeah, and then he also said, like, the people that are doing renovations on his house, that's hard work. I would never do that. They get up super early and work hard all day. I would never do that. That's not me.
Yeah, true. And he even also talked about how he has multiple sources of income and he doesn't even manage any of those. He has people who manages them. So, yeah, he just does what he loves to do, which is teach. So to him, it's not working. So but he's very busy in a sense that he's doing a lot of things. He's always doing this and that, no idle moment. Or if he you know, if he relaxes, then that's part of him getting to the right vibration. So yeah, well, great. Well, thank you for sharing that. That's a very important thing for everybody to hear, that Bob is on the same page as us. It's not about hard work, really. It's about understanding the stick person to a level. I mean, you know, the stick person, if Bob has studied so much in his 50-something years of studying Napoleon Hill's work, and all other things like Troward, etc. If he says that the stick person is the single most important, valuable thing that he has ever come to know, if you don't feel the same way he does about the stick person, then just keep on studying it and keep on digging and keep on asking the universe to reveal the secrets to you. Because seriously, when you understand lesson 4, and not just lesson 4, go beyond lesson 4. I've said it before that whenever I hear something like Abraham, for example, I always get the stick person and relate what she's saying to the stick person. And I just get so many aha moments, like, oh my God, life is really so easy. So, all right. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Let's continue. Okay, I found this video. It's in, I think, Thai, so we probably won't understand it, but it has subtitles. Let me know if you can read the subtitles, okay, if it's big enough. So my point in this video is you can go from fear to love, and sometimes our greatest joy is disguised in fear. And that's because we've been programmed to fear something, for example, but that's where our greatest joy lies. So when we feel that we're fearful about something, let's investigate why we're fearful of it. So, okay, let me put it on.
ครับเดี๋ยวมาทางนี้เลยนะคะเดี๋ยวหมอดูให้ค่ะน้องเดินข้างไหนมาคะเดินข้างซ้ายครับเด็กผู้หญิงคนหนึ่ง
Okay, can you read the subtitles? Can you read it?
Yeah.
Yeah, just, yeah.
Okay, great.
เริ่มต้นความฝันจากสิ่งที่เธอกลัวที่สุดเขาไม่กัดหรอกลูกเขาแค่ห่วงเจ้าของแค่นั้นเองค่ะกินให้อิ่มนะลูกนะไอ้นี่นะไม่กินเหรอนี่นะบางทีความรักที่เธอให้อาจเป็นสิ่งเดียวที่ทำให้มันยอมที่จะมีชีวิตต่อไปและมอบชีวิตที่เหลือทั้งหมด ร้อยแล้วนะคะ ขอบคุณครับหมอ ไม่เป็นไรค่ะ หลายๆคนจมอยู่กับช่วงเวลาที่เลวร้ายของชีวิตแต่เธอเลือกที่จะนำสิ่งดีๆในช่วงเวลานั้นมาเป็นแรงบันดาลใจให้ไปถึงความฝัน
Okay, that was a bit dramatic, but it was a really good thing to, my point is sometimes we die without facing our fears. And it is actually within that fear that we find our greatest joy. So I know that I've been trying to avoid the terror barrier for a while, but sometimes we just gotta face it. And I'm actually excited to tell you guys that I have found a way for myself how to deal with the terror barrier my way, because, Abraham talks about not doing the things that you fear. And Bob talks about just busting through it and doing the fear. So for quite some time, I was like, oh my God, what do I do? What do I do? And now I found a way of how to blend those two things together. I just put this photo here because it's about paradigms. Like, we love dogs, but there's some people who are afraid of dogs, right? So it's just, everything is just a paradigm. Doesn't matter what we fear. There's always somebody who does not fear it. So if we look from a perspective, which is lesson number 5, of that person who does not fear whatever it is that we want to do, then we feel so much better. Okay, so I have a little bit of tears in my eyes for the video. I haven't watched it in a while. I'm like, oh, how am I going to do this class? Okay, so we've been programmed, remember? And there's this story that will just make you understand the programming. For example, there was this person that I knew of. He said that when he was pulling his mom's skirt because he was excited about riding a roller coaster, his mom said, oh, do not be afraid. You don't have to be fearful about it. But then, so that's how that person got confused about excitement and fear, because he was actually excited about it. But then the mom said, oh, you don't have to be fearful about it. So he got confused and took that confusion quite, for quite a number of years of his life until he realized it. So whenever we decide on a goal, we just have to feel into it, the truth into it. Is this something that I really want to do? Okay, how to trample the terror barriers. So this lesson is all about what causes our fears, the secret to pushing through the terror barrier, and how to move forward your goal with confidence and understanding. So when fear creeps in, you can move through it. Okay, so the terror barrier. Taking risks is essential when you really want to reach a goal, and the greatest hazard in life is to risk nothing. So what causes us to shy away from our goals or from taking risks? We've got fear, we've got doubt, and we've got worry. But there is a way where we minimize our risk. Actually, there is even a way, as we have developed our intuition as much as we can, there is no real risk. It may look like it's a risk from the outside, but there is no risk because we know what's coming, because we understand the laws, because we understand the process, and because we understand that we've been there before. Actually, the post that Guy did this morning of him doing this, how do you call those? Guy, how do you call that, what you did this morning? I don't even know.
It's called a press-up clap, or clap with a press-up.
Yeah. Okay, good. There's a press-up clap. Thank you. Some people, because we did a Facebook Live of that this morning, and some people said, oh my gosh, my heart stopped when I saw that. And, to Guy, it wasn't a risk. He's been doing that for years and years and years. He knows what he's capable of, and what's not. To him, that's like, duh, no brainer, and nothing's going to happen, right? But for some people outside who just haven't done that before, they're like, oh my God, how risky. But it's not risky at all. So it's about studying who you are and what you can do. So you gain strength, courage, and confidence by every experience in which you really stop to look fear in the face. You are able to say to yourself, I have lived through this horror. I can take the next thing that comes along. You must do the thing you think you cannot do. So let's talk about to stop and look fear in the face. And why is it so important? Because of the story that we just watched. That video actually made me realize many weeks ago that, wow, you know, fear is telling us something. So this is where our greatest joys can lie, on the other side of that, so to speak. So analysis of several hundred people who had accumulated fortunes well beyond the $1 million mark disclosed the fact that every one of them had the habit of reaching decisions promptly and of changing these decisions slowly if and when they were changed. So this is the decision chapter of Think and Grow Rich, and he's talking about how every successful person makes decisions quickly. So if we have the habit of doing that, sometimes we do run into the terror barrier. So people who fail to accumulate money without exception have the habit of reaching decisions, if at all, very slowly, and of changing these decisions quickly and often. So if we want to accumulate a lot of money, we have to learn to make quick decisions. As it says here, the ones who fail to accumulate money, without exceptions, they have the habit of reaching decisions slowly. So we got to be really, really quick in making decisions. So ask yourself and be honest. Is your goal what you really want, or is it something you're settling for because of fear? Now you can ponder upon this question for many, 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 many days, because your paradigm will try to not to make you go beyond with your thoughts of what you've done. We do, as Kevin says, we do not know what we do not know. So sometimes it's really good to just open a book like The Magic of Thinking Big and to study how to think big, or open Instagram and look at, you know, I don't know, luxury listings, for example. I mean, not everybody wants those kinds of villas or houses or whatever, but still have a look at them so that you know if you want them or not. Give yourself a chance to want them. So there's the paradigm telling you, no, that's not you, and no, you don't want that, and, you know, better go back to bondage. And this is my super excited face. When we think about something and we're in a very happy mood, you know, we've been laughing with friends, and all of a sudden we think about something, because we are aligned and we think about that something, we get really excited. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And then all of a sudden, because we've dropped the vibration, when we get home or we're about to sleep in bed, and we're supposed to do the first action part of realizing that goal, ooh, the paradigm kicks in, talking to you, saying, who do you think you are? You know, you can't do that. So we really have to be strong, in a sense, and stick to being true to us and being our best friend. So let's go to the key points of the lesson 7. Anytime you are setting a goal that results in you skipping a couple of rungs on the ladder of success, you will run up against the terror barrier. So if you haven't run against the terror barrier for a while, check your goals, because they're not really the right ones yet. You have to keep on twisting, like, you know, examining them and making them bigger and better. Whenever you go to make a serious change in lifestyle, moving out of your comfort zone, you run up against the terror barrier. So it is really about change. I was just talking to a friend, I think it was yesterday, how some people 10 years ago are still the same people. Oh my goodness. Let's really make it a point to keep on changing for the better, because that's the fun life. Everything else is just existing. With any change that would come under the category of a major change in your behavior, the terror barrier will instantly and automatically be standing between you and the good that you desire. And I want to remind you, though, that the terror barrier is only an illusion that you have in your head, in your mind. You know, most people use their imagination to imagine the worst case scenarios. And the thing with imagining the worst case scenario, because you could actually say, well, what's the worst thing that can happen? It's just this. But the longer you ponder about a worst case scenario, it actually gets deeper than that, because the law of attraction brings to it similar and similar thoughts. So, but on the other side as well, if we imagine the best case scenario and keep on pondering on the best case scenario, after 17 seconds, the law of attraction will bring more thoughts of the same nature and will make you even more excited, because your dream has just become bigger and become more exciting, because there is no bottom to anything because of the law of attraction. So when this happens, you have a choice. You can step back into safety and continue to experience the same results year after year, or you can be courageous and experience the growth that you have been seeking. Again, you have a choice, and nobody can do this for you, only you. Okay, so you will rarely find a person seriously entertaining an idea of earning $1 million a year when they're conditioned to work for a small wage. They will say to themselves, well, I don't need $1 million. What should I do with that? Like, they won't even think about it. Like, even if somebody says it to them, they automatically shut down and say, well, that's not my reality. You know, I don't want to talk about this. Let's talk about, I don't know, like, the program on TV that I watched last night or whatever. So it is really up to us. It's about a burning desire. I was talking to our accountant a couple of days ago, and he told me a story about this man. I cannot remember his name though, but he was somewhere in, I don't know, Iraq or somewhere there. And when he was born, his mother died, and his father, raped the mother. So the father didn't want anything to do with the baby. So what the father did was to give that child to his parents, and they're the ones who raised that child. And that child wanted so much to go to school, but they didn't have the money to go to school. But he did not give up on that. He listened through the lecture, through the keyhole, and took everything that he could take. And a teacher saw him and said, you know what, just come in and study here. But to cut a long story short, this little child who had a burning desire is now a billionaire. So it is really about how we feel about the kind of life that we want to live. If there are people who say, for example, especially like in network marketing, if we tell people, this is a serious opportunity where you can change your life. If people do not take it, well, that's because they do not care about change. But that's not our problem, it's theirs. Okay, so it has to come from every person. Okay, so look at the stick person here. Thought energy flowing to and through you is neither positive nor negative. It is just energy. It just is. And then we form an idea in our conscious mind. We're excited about it. We're thinking about it. And then all of a sudden we get emotionally involved with it, which then is in the subconscious mind. And then our paradigm immediately talks to us and says, oh, that idea is stupid. How did you even come up with that idea? You know, and the paradigm will go like, and where are you going to get the money for that? Or the paradigm will say, well, before you invest in yourself, personal development wise, you first have to pay the rent. It's going to talk to you and talk to you and talk to you, and stop you from doing the thing that you really, really, really want to do. That's why it's so important to actually know about paradigms. Most people do not even know about paradigms. That's why they stay stuck. So the nature of the idea you build will have a tendency to be influenced by your subconscious conditioning. So that's what I was just talking about. So let's talk about the conscious and subconscious mind. Here we have the conscious mind on the top and the subconscious mind at the bottom, where the paradigm lies. For a person to change their results, they must change their paradigm. So this is what they must change. And this requires strong conscious control over their thinking. So here, a strong conscious control over their thinking. And lesson 5 is really the lesson to teach you how to do this. And that's why we have to do TIR with repetition, 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 repetition. In school, if we have read something and we think we understood it just because we can tell the teacher what it says, what we just read, that is categorized as learning in school, but that is not really what learning is. Learning is the moment when you've manifested the change in result because of your change of thinking, your change of feeling about yourself and that goal, and the actions that changed, like just Mary was talking about, the Instagram thing, and Joanne, and then the results change. That's when you can say that you've learned it, because your results have changed. Okay, let's talk about the terror barrier. Now, a lot of you have seen this over and over and over again, and it'll remain a theory unless you tie it up with a real case situation in your life. Make this very, very personal, because this is so important to understand if you want to fly in anything that you choose to do in life. So this is us, all of us. All of us have a different kind of X in our conscious mind, the thoughts that we think. The thoughts I think are different from the thoughts that Guy thinks, are different from the thoughts that Mariam thinks, Daniel, anybody and everybody in this call. It's different. Sometimes we synchronize because we plan a mastermind. We have a mastermind. So Guy and my thoughts are more alike now with being together for as long as we've been together than when we weren't together, right? So, and even us here with TIR who are studying it, our thoughts are more synchronized now than they ever were before we all did TIR. So the feelings, we all have our own feelings. Some things bother me, some things bother Guy, some things bother somebody else. It's not all the same. And then the things that bother me sometimes don't bother Guy. Some things that bother Guy don't bother me. We all have different feelings about something. Or also things that are important to me may not be important to Guy, or some things that are important to him may not be important to me. But that's okay. But he and I have also a lot of things that we feel the same way about certain things. For example, Aliza, we just adore her. Okay, so the body, same thing. We all have the manifestation of our bodies. Like, nobody is alike in this call. It's all different. Okay, so the second thing is the reasoning factor. Here we come up with an outside idea, which is why. Again, I'm not just explaining this because Bob, already explains it in the video. You might as well just, watch Bob. I want you to think of the idea in your mind of the why, that outside idea that you want as a new result in your life. So the why idea, whatever idea it is that you're thinking about right now, it's in your conscious mind because you're thinking about it right now. The subconscious is still in the X vibration. The body still has not changed. and the result is still the same as here in bondage. Now, as we become emotionally involved with that new idea, we're now on lesson 7. So we've gone through lesson 1 to 7. We, like lesson 6, we got emotionally involved through the story, the new story that we created for our lives in the next 3 months, 6 months, etc. We get emotionally involved, and we've done affirmations. We've written affirmations 100 times. Now, of course, only you can answer the question if you're doing the exercises or not. But if you had been doing the exercises, by this time you'd already have a chaotic vibration, in the sense that that new idea has now sank in to the subconscious programming. So you're on an XY vibration, and so is your body. It's in an XY vibration. It's kind of fighting a little bit with itself. So let's talk about the process to freedom, the process to goal achievement. So we've had these 3 just a while ago. When this happens, you're in an XY vibration. There is this imaginary wall that we call a terror barrier. This is when the subconscious programming, the paradigm is saying here, oh my goodness, quit it, stop it, go back to where you were safe there, that's dangerous territory. It's talking to you, giving you all sorts of excuses. And then, for example, if you want to do something, and you don't block the time to do that, the universe, because it's your subconscious programming, will bring you things that you feel you need to do first before you do that other thing. So I first have to do this before I pursue my dreams. Like, yeah, really? Are you kidding? Because until when are you going to hold it like that? So this imaginary wall is now standing between the old you and the potential new you in the manifested world. And we got to break through that. So the way that Bob teaches it is just jump, and you'll develop wings along the way. Although, yes, I totally agree. I know it's true. I live that way, but I also know that is a painful way to live. But I also know that it really, really, really works. Okay, so we get to choose how we want to live it. It may be different for every situation. Sometimes we may want to live this way or another way. Instead of just jumping into it and doing it, there's another way that I've found. We'll talk about that later. So when you understand...
Hildy,
yeah?
Hildy, can I just share something quick? Because I've got 1% battery and I'm going to cut out in a minute.
Yeah.
I just want to share, because you're talking about having different ideas, different thoughts, and couples, but also having the same ideas and the same sort of visions going forward. So Yarrick has just shared with in one of the WhatsApp groups, there's an interview with, is it Megan, the one that's just got engaged to Prince Harry. Now, I've dived really quite deeply into the whole Wallace Simpson and King Edward, and just seeing what happened and how she got shunted away from the whole royal family. And now this lady is like mixed black American, and she has been invited into the royal family. They're engaged, and these two are so aligned and so intimate. So, oh my God, the love on that is just incredible. But they have the same visions, the same interests. So, if you've been reading the persistence chapter and have been following and are inspired by the Wallace Simpson King Edward thing, then this video that Yarrick's posted, if you don't have it, then let me know and I can send it to you, is very, very inspiring about having that same vision, and and then also changes within the royal family. Like the Queen has now said, is invited her into the family and is happy about it. So super interesting.
Yeah, well, thanks for sharing that. Please do share the link to it. But because even in the Bible, it says that when two people come together, well, in the Bible it says in my name, but when two people have this idea and they work together to achieve a goal, it is so powerful. It's not just 1 + 1; it exponentially expands. So really, it is so beautiful when people are aligned in thoughts and in feelings and in actions, targeting one goal. That is really, really a powerful team. but we'll talk more about that in lesson 10. And I'm thinking about the All Blacks, is, you know, Guy is always talking about the All Blacks of how powerful they are.
Yeah, baby.
All right, so let's continue. So when you understand what's causing the fear, it enables you to go through it. So this is what happens when you're in a negative vibration. Your thoughts are negative, like, oh, how am I going to do this? I can't do this. And then all of a sudden, so this is, you start worrying, you start doubting in your conscious mind, and then fear kicks in simultaneously, because that's the side effect of doubt and worry. So this is the thought, and this is the feeling. This is where fear is. And then the body, anxiety comes. And then this then leads to suppression, because you usually don't talk to people about your fears and stuff. And then it leads to depression, and then that then leads to disease. That's why people get sick. I mean, if you know people who are having a disease, you know what's going on in their minds, because the body is an instrument of the mind. The body does exactly what the mind, what the activity in the mind is going through. And then disintegration. Okay, so on the other side, when we've got knowledge about certain things that we're studying, it is the solution to the problem. So we study in a conscious mind, because we get to choose. We'll say, okay, I will take this hour to study. You know, a lot of people, they have an hour where they do nothing, like absolutely nothing. So why not use that hour to study? Because once you change a little bit in your programming, it'll change massively in the outside. Okay, so study, and then understand and ask questions if you do not understand it. Okay, that's in the conscious mind. In the subconscious, this is a feeling of faith. This is what Mary was talking about. Like, I just knew. Like, every cell of your body just knows, you know, you have faith. And once you have that faith, things manifest, like the way Mariam is now manifesting the things that she wants, because she now has faith, whether she knows it or not, that's what it's called, and you know, in that word. But she's having faith from all this studying. And on a body level, this is well-being. It's expressed as well-being. So we express the well-being. This then turns to acceleration. Everything speeds up. You ask yourself, oh my God, where was that all my life? And your body, you are at ease. You're just chilling. You're happy. You're smiling. Nothing can disturb you. And that's when you start creating things that wasn't there before. Nobody thought of before. Or you find yourself. You find your way. You find your path. Everything lights up for you. So this is, you know, the better side to be on. And it all starts over here in the conscious decision in your conscious mind to study. So it starts here, and then you just go down. Okay. So faith is the ability to see the invisible, because you see it in your mind, right? Or you see it in your mind and put it to paper, to believe in the incredible. And that will permit us to receive what the masses call impossible. Okay, so these are the 4 steps that we just talked about. Okay, first we're in bondage, and then we come up with a new idea, the reasoning. And then there's the conflict, because we're in the XY vibration. And these 3 are the competitive plane of life. This leads to disintegration. So where we really want to be is here, where the freedom is, where we have cooperative plane of life. Freedom to do what we want to do. Freedom to do what we love to do. Freedom to live the life we want to live. So when we've passed through the terror barrier and we're now in freedom, this then becomes bondage. But we don't go back down there. Because if you imagine that these are frequencies, and these are the higher frequencies, these are the lower frequencies, this then becomes the lower frequency, and then we shoot at a much higher star. So we never go back here. So most people, when they're in the XY vibration, because they're ignorant about what's going on, and they feel so uncomfortable in the anxiety of the body, they bump against that wall and just go back here. So we want to go through and live the way we want to live. And then after we've got what we wanted, we'll want more, which is a good thing. So let's stay here in the create phase. Okay, so Bashar says, remember, it's not real. It's just a symbol. Everything that's happening in your life is not real. It's just a symbol. The money, the paper money, the bank account, it's just a symbol of what's been going on in your mind. But that's not what's real, because you can change it right away. Instead of thinking, oh, how am I going to, pay for my debt? Why don't you just change your thinking into, I'm making X amount of money, and money is always constantly flowing to me. And, I'm always ahead financially. So we always choose what we believe will serve us best. So what I'm saying about this is sometimes we do not want to go for our dreams because it is tied to a subconscious thinking that we do not see, because it's hidden deep down inside in the dark places. Let's just say you want to be, you have a lot of success money-wise, for example, okay? Or you want to break through that, and you want to make $1 million. But you grew up hearing your parents saying to you, ooh, that's not us. It's for those people over there. Like, oh my God, that person has a Ferrari. They probably either stole it, or they're doing something, with drugs, dealing drugs or whatever. So there is this conflict in your subconscious mind that is trying to prevent you from going forward. Because on the one side, it's either I have all this money, and on the other side that you do not see, is the programming thinking that, oh, when people see me driving that Ferrari, then they will think that I'm a crook. Like, I stole it, or I'm dealing drugs or whatever, right? So it prevents you from wanting to go whatever it is that you want. And the reason why I put this picture here, we always choose what we believe will serve us best, is because we have this survival mechanism. When we jump into water, after a while, we need this air. I tried this before many, many years ago because I was curious. Like, if a person wanted to kill itself, like I was wondering why they're going through all these sorts of things of whatever they go through. And I said, I'll just go into the water and just keep my head under the water. I can't breathe. But then the subconscious kicks in, and you cannot stop yourself from actually taking air. You are not in conscious control of that, because there's something inside of you that's wanting to live on, that's taking control. So the same thing when we are programmed in the subconscious mind to believe that people are crooks that have a lot of money, it'll try to keep you alive, so to speak, in your reality that you want to be a good person and not a bad person. I hope I was able to, did you understand what I was trying to explain there?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, good. Okay. So always be consciously aware of that your subconscious programming is trying to keep you alive and trying to keep that idea alive that was programmed into it. That's why we have to change the programming if we want other results, right? So this is a new way that I found. Whenever I come across that freaking terror barrier, I ask myself, what must I be believing to create an illusion that there is a terror barrier? And then I go through these emotions and ask myself, this is actually inspired by Angelique. She led me to a way, long story, but Angelique, I don't know if you're on the call, but I thank you for this, because you led me to a way to come up with this idea. Okay. So what is hidden in my subconscious mind? Which of these is hidden in my conscious mind, especially, of course, here, especially more down here, that is not allowing me to go through that terror barrier? And then once I try to feel the feeling of blame, like, okay, so I'm on this terror barrier, right? I feel blame. Why do I feel blame? And then as soon as this comes into the light, I am in control of it. And then I can say, okay, I choose now not to blame anymore, but to take responsibility of my life. So it's not what my mom programmed me like 20, 30 years ago. Who cares what she programmed into me? I now decide to change my paradigm and set my thermostat at a different kind of level. So what I'm saying is, when you face a terror barrier, go through this chart and feel into what it feels like. Am I now overwhelmed as I am facing this terror barrier? Or am I frustrated because I've been trying for so long, but somehow it's not working? You know, to just get it into the light and then write affirmations down that are the exact opposite of what you've been feeling. Because what you've been feeling has been manifesting for you. Okay, here, if it feels bad, it's not true. Just always remember that. So if it feels bad, for example, you say, oh, how am I going to do that? I'm probably not going to be able to do that. Well, then it's not true because it feels bad. Because the truth always feels good. The truth is you are capable. If you can think it, and most especially if you desire it, then you are capable. You were given the tools, the kit. It's a complete kit to be able to manifest it. You may not know how right away, but as you move forward in what you can move forward on by asking questions and you know, but by just whatever, start with what you have, with what you've got, with where you are, and you will always move forward. So it's like, you know, if you're traveling from London to Exeter, you can, you know, walk there, you can use the train, you can ride the bike. I heard from Annie you can even fly. I didn't know. Like, wow, you can even fly. So as long as you're going in the right direction, who cares about the speed, right? You are going to get there. Okay, if we were in your physical shoes, we would live our lives on the edge of adventure, knowing that well-being will follow us wherever we go. So I'm just checking the time. Okay, we still have 4 minutes. Okay, so this is Abraham. Live on the edge of adventure because it's fun, knowing that well-being will follow us wherever we go. So I would just suggest that you just program yourself of that anything that may come up for you that you desire, that you can do. I heard Bob once say something like, oh, I've never done that before, so that means I can do it. And I've heard Pippi Longstockings say that before. Just because you haven't done it before, you could either believe that you can't do it because you haven't done it before, or you could believe just because you haven't done it before, you know that you can do it. Just like a little child. I mean, like, nobody is doubting that Aliza will one day be walking, right? So the same with us. If we choose something that our heart really desires, then we are capable of doing it. We just have to make that decision. All right, so, you know, instead of showing you more slides, let me just open it up for, you know, you guys to talk about anything that you felt during the call or any questions that you may have.
Hildy, I've got a question.
Yeah.
It's Mary. You know, like when you say that we go through the terrier barrier and we do go through it, does your emotions and feelings have to be right to do it or not?
Well, Bob says no, Abraham says yes.
That doesn't help.
I use both. I choose from, you know, I because what I like teaching people is that you contain the answers for yourself. Nobody can know for you. But the good thing about knowing these different styles is that you can choose.
Right, okay. Yeah. It's only because at this moment in time, I feel right. There's no oomph, you know, like there's no I would normally feel. So I've got things to do, but I don't think it'll happen because I haven't got that vibration. Am I right in saying that?
How do you feel about your goal?
It doesn't give me oomph.
You see, it doesn't fire up the fire in your belly, so your goal is not the right one. You gotta go back to lesson 1 and relax. And even, you know what I like doing as well? I like going to the shopping mall and look deliberately intent to go there to look for things that I like, to give me a reason to get up with my butt and do something and make more money. Yeah, because we tend to become comfortable, like, okay, so the money is there, I mean, there's nothing to worry about. And sometimes, you know, some people like to even I like manifesting. Okay, you know what, I'll just spend this amount of money just so that my bank account doesn't have that much money, and then I will have this desire to get up again and do something.
Right.
Yeah. So so and then, okay, so when I think about Kevin, what he does is he says that the really, really rich, what they do, like push-ups, it's like push-ups to them. They think about things that they would want to do or will do. It doesn't mean that they're going to do it, but he's saying that if we can think about, you know, creating a spaceship that will fly to the moon, it seems so easy and so small to own a private jet. What you could also do, Mary, which is very powerful, is to take a friend and set a goal with a friend. I mean, that's actually what we're doing. I meing, you know, with creating the island. Come on, like, we don't have to go to the island, you know, but let's just, you know, let's just do it. Let's get excited. We want to be excited about something. We want to be working towards something. And
it's true. No, it is. It's just it doesn't seem. I've got my goal on my board, and I look at it, and I can't finish it off because it doesn't excite me, and it's quite a high goal, so I don't know.
You know what? That goal, if you're not emotionally involved with it, then it's too high for now. You're nowhere near it. Like, you know, like if somebody said, okay, so I was talking to somebody the other day, and her best friend is one of the richest people in the Philippines, and they own all these shopping malls, and one shopping mall is even like the 3rd biggest in Asia, and I think they built an even bigger one, which is now the biggest in Asia, that's in the Philippines, whatever. And then she said that they went from something like 13 billion to 20 billion. Now, for somebody who doesn't even know how it feels like to have 100 million or even 1 million, it's like, yeah, I'm going for the billion. Like, really? Tell me what you're going to do with that money. So, you know what you could do? The game that we talked about a couple of weeks ago, the 1,000. Like, so today you have 1,000 to spend. Tomorrow you have 2,000 to spend. The day after tomorrow you have 3,000 to spend. So the game is, this is the money that's coming to your bank vibrationally. And then you have to spend that amount on that day. So on the 14th day, you are spending 14,000, but you've already spent the 13, 11, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8. And then see how creative you can get of spending that money. And then you'll see where you'll stuck. And if you see that it's difficult for you to actually think about something, what you're going to do with the money, then it'll become clear to you why you're not attracting more money.
Would that be because I'm not aligned with money I'm not money consciousness?
Yeah, definitely. You're not aligned because you don't know what to do with it. I mean, you will know what I mean when you play that game. Because sometimes you think, I know what I'll do with it. I'll do this, whatever. But really, really, because the thing is, when I played that game for the very first time, I said, oh, it's so easy to spend money, you know? And then so I thought of like, okay, I'll buy this watch. Oh, this Rolex watch. Like, yeah, I have the money to spend on that, but I don't like that watch. So why would I spend it? I'll be having something at home that I don't even like. I want to like everything that I see in my home. So Mary, just play that game. It'll reveal a lot of things about yourself.
Yeah, well, I do. Sorry, there's an app that you can get, The Secret, and they obviously you manifest, and they give you money every day. If you put money into, you spend the money, and then once you've spent it, then it gives you another check, and you put it in, and you keep doing that. I sit there and think, no, and so the last couple of days, I've not had any money put in because I've not spent what I'm supposed to have, because I do struggle with like, well, what do I need? And that's me being honest and open, because I'd rather be honest and open, because I don't understand it. I haven't got a connection with it, and I don't get why I don't have that connection.
You know what? If my daughter heard you speaking now, she will say, you don't buy what you need, you buy what you want.
No, yeah. That's good. Yeah.
Can I ask a question, Hildy?
Yeah.
So I know, because I've spoken with Mary as well, and I know we both find it really challenging understanding the questions.
Yeah.
And I don't know if we're the only ones, and I find myself not doing the sheets as much as I should be, because I'm not connecting with the questions, because I'm not fully understanding what it's asking. So when I answer it, my paradigm's thinking, am I answering this correctly? And then I sort of go into a bit of a block. I don't know if anyone else has problems with the questions, but I just don't get them. Lesson 6 is a bit easier, but some of the questions are really challenging. And then I think, oh my gosh, I'm investing all this time into this amazing course, and I'm really worried that I'm doing things wrong and answering them wrong.
Well, first of all, you can't do anything wrong, but you can do things better. So really take advantage of me being here every Tuesday to ask your questions. And so we have the group. Why don't you write a message when you come up with a question and make everybody in that group answer?
I know. Close your ears, everyone, but I suppose I'm just a bit embarrassed because some of the questions are probably quite easy, and then it's like, why doesn't she understand that?
You know what? This is just my story, okay? My classmates always hated me because here was Hildy always having another question. The bell already rang. She's still having a question. You have to just not care because it's your growth. And believe me, others will be happy that you asked that questions because they just didn't want to ask the questions for the same reason.
Okay, so if we answer a question incorrectly in the wrong terms of how it's asking you, can that then affect your results? But then again, I'm telling my mind that it's going to affect the results. So I need to change the way I think, don't I?
Yeah, well, definitely. That's what we're here for, to change the way we think, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Rob says here that he has sometimes a difficult time understanding the questions as well. But that's what I'm here for. That's why I'm always saying, ask me questions, ask me questions, ask me questions.
Sorry, Hildy, but
True.
I say, I've always been honest and open. Obviously, when we had the chat right at the beginning, and I'll be honest with open with anyone, I've had no education. I've come from a really bad, poor background of upbringing. And I know through the terrier barrier, and it's still there, that I'm on lesson 2, and I don't get it. I really don't get it. And I'm supposed to do a certain amount of things on it, and I can't do the third piece of paper because I don't get it. But I think it's embarrassment. It's embarrassment of and I know. Remember, Guy said, and you said as well, it's very powerful what you do, Mary, because on the morning inspiration calls, I'm quite open. If someone says a word, I don't get it, and I really don't get it. And if it makes me look thick or stupid, then I'm just being honest, because I don't get it. I really don't get it.
Well, which is really exciting for you, because if you don't get it and then you open yourself up to allowing yourself to ask those questions and you get the answers, oh my God, what growth, right?
Yeah.
And it's a bigger problem for people who say, I get it. They don't grow.
Right. Well, I don't get it.
I remember Kevin Trudeau said that the day you say I get it is the day you stop learning.
Absolutely. That's when you
Yeah.
stop growing, and that, life is fun when you've got questions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes me feel so much better, because I forget that quote from him, actually.
Well, from now on, you'll be doing it. So just send a message to the group, because I'm sure the group would love to help as well. And on Tuesdays, I'm here. So send me the questions. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. I got to breastfeed, as I can see here. So
Hildy.
bye, guys. Sending my love. Chat soon.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Ta-da, loves. Ta-da.
Ta-da.